Hey people, my name is Doris. Welcome back again to my channel. If you're new here or returning subscriber, you are welcome. Okay? Yes, I've been uploading videos upon videos, love story between Emmanuel and LIQUOROSE, fiction story. Yes, and I have uploaded chapter 1 to chapter 15. Ha! Almost thumbs up to me, oh, thumbs up to me. So I am here with chapter 16, chapter 17, chapter 18, chapter 19, and chapter 20. Yes. By the end of this video, we'll be able to know what later happened between Emmanuel and LIQUOROSE. Did they later fall in love or they later separated? I don't know, but join me. Let's take the ride. Remember where we stopped at chapter 15 was where Emmanuel went out and bought food, that is rice and meat. So he left the food to go upstairs to pick one or two things. LIQUOROSE carried the food and ate. So they're having problem. Why will you eat my food? LIQUOROSE was telling him, why will you go out and buy food without buying two, knowing fully well that your wife is at home? So they are still arguing. Let's jump into it. Chapter 16, LIQUOROSE said, "You are my problem. What did I do exactly? On top rice and you are shouting like this. See, don't stress me, oh. If you're hungry, go and eat the remaining with that their meat that is strong, safe. And if you're not eating, go to the kitchen and cook. If you don't feel like cooking, drink gari or golden moon or cornflakes or any other cereal and stop shouting at me," she hissed. She left him there and ran to her room. When she got to her room, she closed the door and stood behind. LIQUOROSE said, "God saved me today. Thank God I have a very sharp mouth, but there is more about this guy that I need to know. I mean, he seems calm, and I'm the one acting like the bully." She jumped on her bed and buried her head on her pillow. Emmanuel said, "Wow, wait, what's this girl's problem for Christ's sake? Why is she disturbing me? Now, if I tell my parents, they won't believe me." "Don't worry, I know what to do." He cleared the table and went to the kitchen to prepare noodles. When Mrs. Omo got home, she narrated everything to her husband, so they decided to visit the Afije's mansion the next day. When they got there, Mrs. Afije said, "My in-laws." Mrs. Omo said, "Good morning." Mr. Afije said, "To whom do we owe this surprise visit?" Mr. Omo laughed. Mrs. Afije said, "Please sit. What can we offer you?" Mrs. Omo said, "That will be later. We came to discuss something about our children." Mrs. Afije said, "Please, what's that?" Mrs. Omo said, "I gave them a surprise visit and I can say that they are not really getting along." Mrs. Afije said, "My thought too, cause LIQUOROSE mistakenly told me that they sleep in different rooms." Then Mr. Afije said, "And you didn't tell me." Mrs. Afije said, "I'm sorry." Mr. Afije said, "So what are we going to do?" Mr. Omo said, "There is this thing we will have to organize for them. It has a name, but I have forgotten." Mr. Afije said, "What's that?" Mr. Omo said, "They will have to go to the place for at least 3 days so that they can build their friendship and relationship. And I'm going to make sure that I tell them to allow them share a room." Mr. Afije said, "Nice idea." Mr. Omo said, "Yes, so their mothers will have to go to their house tomorrow so they can inform them. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so they will go tomorrow evening and they will come back on Saturday evening or Sunday morning." Mrs. Afije said, "No problem." So Mr. Afije now said, "What do we now offer you?" Mr. Omo said, "Anything will do." The Afijes entertained the Omos. The next day, Mrs. Afije and Mrs. Omo visited Emmanuel and LIQUOROSE to tell them. LIQUOROSE said, "What? We will have to travel together for 3 days?" Mrs. Afije said, "Yes, my dear." Mrs. Omo said, "The purpose is for you guys to build a strong friendship and relationship. Trust me, it is tested and trusted. I have read a lot of testimonies about them, and one of my friends' child too has done something like that, and it yielded positively." Emmanuel said, "Mom?" Mrs. Omo said, "Your father has promised to give you some money to support your salon and gym business, and he is also going to support and sponsor the motherless baby home you run." Emmanuel said, "And how do you know about my motherless baby home?" Mrs. Omo said, "That is a talk for another day." In LIQUOROSE's mind, there is more about this guy. Oh. So he has a salon, gym, and a motherless baby home, and it seems he is hiding it from his family. But why on earth is he proud and rude and loves flirting with girls? Mrs. Omo said, "LIQUOROSE, LIQUOROSE, LIQUOROSE." LIQUOROSE said, "Ma." Mrs. Umo said, is anything the problem? Liquorose said, no, ma. Mrs. Afije now said, so you guys are going today? Liquorose said, today? Mrs. Umo said, today. Emmanuel said, but why? Mrs. Umo said, nothing. Your father is going to send his driver to come and pick you guys up in the evening, so you guys should start packing everything you need to pack. Emmanuel said, but mom? Mrs. Umo said, no but. Liquorose said, okay, ma, we will go, ma, and we'll start packing as soon as possible. Emmanuel said, you and who? Liquorose said, me and you. Mom, don't worry. Mrs. Omo said, we will get going now. Mrs. Afija said, bye, they left. Emmanuel said, why do you like acting as if you were perfect? Liquoro said, go and start packing. I don't have time to argue this morning. That's yesterday's food. Where did you buy it? Emmanuel hissed and left her. He left her standing. Liquorose said, you better go and start packing. Oh. Liquorose went to her room. In the evening, the driver came to pick them up and they left. When they got to the place, the person that welcomed them is Mrs. Eunice. So she said, good evening, guys. Liquorose said, good evening, ma. Emmanuel said, good evening. Mrs. Eunice said, I'm Eunice Raymond. Liquorose said, I'm Liquorose. Emmanuel said, I'm Emmanuel. Mrs. Eunice said, I'm your special supervisor. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys the timetable. Emmanuel said, timetable? Liquorose said, you heard her right. Mrs. Eunice said, yes, timetable. Liquorose said, okay, ma. Mrs. Eunice said, what do you like to eat tonight? Liquorose said, as for me, I'm fine. I don't know about him. Mrs. Eunice said, Mr. Emmanuel. Emmanuel said, I'm fine, too. Liquorose said, ma, I just want to rest now. I had a very long day and I'm so tired at the moment. Please, ma, can you show me my room? Mrs. Eunice said, let's go, guys. Mrs. Eunice took them to a room and she opened the door and told them to come in. Liquorose, ma, is this my room? Mrs. Eunice said, yes, your room. Emmanuel said, so where is mine? Mrs. Eunice said, oh, sorry, my bad. This is also your room. You guys will have to share the same room. Emmanuel shouted, what? Chapter 18. Emmanuel said, ma, I'm so tired and I'm not in jokes right now. Please come and show me my room. Mrs. Eunice said, Mr. Emmanuel, the both of you will be sharing the same room, okay? She left them standing, went out and locked the door. Mrs. Eunice said, if you need anything, call me with the phone on the table, but everything you will be needing is in that room. I will come and open the door tomorrow morning. Good night. Liquoro said, ma, please, ma, open the door. Emmanuel said, open this door. Mrs. Eunice left them in the room. Liquoro shouted, oh God. Emmanuel also said, hey, you are shouting, oh. Liquoro said, you better shut down your gutter you call mouth up. Hey. Emmanuel said, I don't have your time. Liquoro said, neither do I. Emmanuel went to the bed. Liquoro said, there is no couch. Emmanuel said, too bad, because you are going to sleep on the floor today. Liquoro said, no, you are the one going to sleep on the floor. Emmanuel said, let's see. Liquorose went to sit on the other side of the bed. Few minutes later, Liquorose went to the bathroom and she saw that there is no key to lock the bathroom if she wants to shower. Kai, two dramatic people. Hope you guys are enjoying this story with me. Liquorose said, Emmanuel. Emmanuel said, what? Liquorose said, the bathroom doesn't have a lock. Emmanuel said, so? Liquorose said, please, can you do me a favor? Emmanuel was just looking at her. Emmanuel said, please, I want to shower. Can you please stay here till I'm done? Emmanuel said, well, it depends on how long you will stay there. Liquorose said, what if I stay long, uncle? What will you do? Emmanuel said, come inside. Liquorose said, are you okay at all? Emmanuel said, your time starts now. Liquorose took everything she needed to take and she hurriedly to the bathroom. Few minutes later, she came out with her nighties and Emmanuel did the same. When Liquorose was about to sleep, Liquorose said, hi, I want to sleep. Emmanuel said, am I holding you? Liquorose said, I mean you should excuse me. Emmanuel said, from where? Liquorose said, bed. Emmanuel laughed and said, you this girl, you are funny. Liquorose said, meaning? Emmanuel said, so you are expecting me to sleep on the floor? You are joking. Why can't you sleep on the floor? Liquorose said, but don't worry. She took the blanket and the pillow and slept on the floor. Few minutes later, Emmanuel slept off. Liquorose wasn't really feeling comfortable sleeping on the floor, so she had to join him on the bed. But she used the pillow and blanket to separate herself from Emmanuel. The next morning, LIQUOROSE woke up so early to take her bath, and later on, Emmanuel did the same. Around 7 a.m., Mrs. Eunice came to open the door, sorry. So Mrs. Eunice said, "Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Umo." Emmanuel said, "The only Mr. and Mrs. Umo I know is my mom and my dad. Any other one apart from that, I don't know about it." So LIQUOROSE hissed and said, "Good morning, Mrs. Eunice." Mrs. Eunice said, "It's time for breakfast." Emmanuel said, "So what are we eating?" Mrs. Eunice said, "You and LIQUOROSE will have to choose, and LIQUOROSE will do the cooking." LIQUOROSE now said, "Why me?" Emmanuel said, "Why not you?" Mrs. Eunice said, "Mrs. LIQUOROSE, Mr. Emmanuel will be the one to cook in the afternoon." Emmanuel said, "Why me?" LIQUOROSE now said, "Why not you?" and laughed. Mrs. Eunice said, "So what will you guys eat?" LIQUOROSE said, "Anything, oh." Mrs. Eunice said, "Mr. Emmanuel." Emmanuel said, "I don't know." Mrs. Eunice said, "Noodles?" LIQUOROSE said, "Yes." LIQUOROSE went to the kitchen to prepare noodles, and after she finished cooking, she called Emmanuel and Mrs. Eunice to the dining table. When Emmanuel took a fork, Emmanuel said, "Elle, don't you know how to cook ordinary noodles? The taste is awful." Mrs. Eunice said, "Mr. Emmanuel, but this food is delicious." Emmanuel said, "No, it's not, ma. I can't eat this food." LIQUOROSE said, "But there is nothing wrong with this food." Mrs. Eunice said, "Mr. Emmanuel, you can only take cereal." Emmanuel said, "I'm fine with it." Emmanuel went to the kitchen. LIQUOROSE said, "But ma." Mrs. Eunice said, "Trust me, the food is delicious. Continue eating." An hour after eating, Emmanuel and LIQUOROSE was in the sitting room. Mrs. Eunice said, "Attention guys, it's time for the first task." Emmanuel says, "Which is?" Mrs. Eunice said, "Follow me." They followed her. Mrs. Eunice, "Please sit." They sat. Mrs. Eunice said, "Mrs. LIQUOROSE, please sit in front of Emmanuel." She did, and Mrs. Eunice sat where LIQUOROSE sat before. Mrs. Eunice said, "Thank you. This task is more or less like an exercise, and it's called the eye contact exercise. All you have to do is fix your eye with your partner and bring good vibes. So you have to hold and maintain eye contact for 1 minute." Emmanuel said, "There is nothing so special in her eyes." Chapter 19. LIQUOROSE said, "Same as yours," she hissed. Mrs. Eunice said, "You are to maintain eye contact for 1 minute. If you fail to do so, this timer will reset and you'll have to go again. So guys, are we ready?" LIQUOROSE rolled her eyes. Mrs. Eunice said, "So at the count of 5, the timer will start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go!" In just a second, they looked away. Mrs. Eunice said, "Oops, we'll have to try this again. You guys can do it. So, are we ready? I will count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go!" In 5 minutes again, they looked away. Mrs. Eunice, frustrated, now said, "We can do this, guys. Go!" In 8 seconds, LIQUOROSE looked away. Mrs. Eunice now said, Emmanuel said, "She caused it this time." LIQUOROSE said, "You are the only one here with zero self-control. Please, ma, let's go again." Mrs. Eunice said, "We don't have all day because someone is coming, so we have to go to the next phase." Emmanuel said, "What next?" Mrs. Eunice said, "Follow me." They followed her. Mrs. Eunice now said, "Now hold yourself and help yourselves up. Do not limit your challenge. Challenge your limit. Let's go." They both fell. LIQUOROSE said, "You pushed me." Emmanuel said, "I didn't push you." LIQUOROSE said, "What are we doing next?" Mrs. Eunice said, "I think it's enough for now. You know what? Go and get ready. Someone is coming to take you guys on some lessons." LIQUOROSE said, "Okay, ma." They left, and some minutes later, Mr. Luan arrived. Mrs. Eunice said, "Hello." Mr. Luan said, "Hi." Mrs. Eunice said, "How are you doing?" Mr. Luan said, "Fine, and you?" Mrs. Eunice said, "Fine too." Mr. Luan said, "So?" Mrs. Eunice said, "Please, follow me." He followed her to the sitting room. Mrs. Eunice provided a board and a marker. She also gave Emmanuel and LIQUOROSE a book and a pen each. Mr. Luan said, "Good afternoon." Emmanuel said, "Good afternoon too." Mr. Luan said, "My name is Mr. Luan Jerry Adoga. Please introduce yourself." Emmanuel said, "My name is Emmanuel Junior Omo." LIQUOROSE said, "So your name is also Junior?" Emmanuel didn't answer the question. So LIQUOROSE said, "No wonder, it's in you guys' blood. Anyways, my name is Roslyn Afije Omo." Mr. Luan said, "Good, I'm your coach for today, and today we'll be talking about love. But before we start, what is love? Or better still, let me ask like this: do you believe in love? Do you believe love exists?" Emmanuel said, "No." Liquoro said, "And your parents are together? Love connected them, love brought them together, and their love formed you." Emmanuel said, "For me, I think connection and sex did." Liquoro said, "Love comes before sex." Emmanuel said, "I doubt it. Those prostitutes you see everywhere, do they love the man they want to have sex with before having sex with them?" Mr. Luan said, "This is getting more interesting, Mr. Emmanuel. Please, can I know your reasons?" Emmanuel said, "Good, here is the thing. I don't believe in love. True, but I do believe in a connection. I have found love in my life multiple times with my younger brothers. I know that sounds wild, but here is the thing. I do love them, just not romantically, but in a way of connection. My mom was one of my first love. These people are incredibly important to me in a sense of connection and closeness. A sense of connection is more important than love itself. Think about it. The word love nowadays is used with everything, as in, oh, I love this coffee, or telling your heartbroken friend you love her to calm her down, or saying you love a dress because it's attractive. Love has become a profit maker. It's no longer a connection between humans. Really think the person you are with, are you connected? Do you share important things, moments, and coincidence? One of my best friends has told me on a multiple occasions that she felt more. A true relationship should be about having fun, not showing off, not proving your love to others, but proving your connection to your partner. Finding love is easy. You can love anything or anyone. It's finding that connection that is difficult part. The important part. So to me, I don't believe in love. I doubt if it exists, Seth. Mr. Luan now said, "Wow, Mrs. Umo, what do you have to say?" Chapter 20. LIQUOROSE said, "Wow, for the first time in my life, I'm actually going to agree with you, but I strongly believe love exists. I'm only agreeing to the connection part. Love brings about connection. Fine, the word love has been greatly misused in a way, but there are different types of love. You can't connect with someone you don't love. Take, for example, the both of us. We don't love each other and we don't vibe. Neither do we have any connection. Love is not something we give or get. It is something that we nurture and grow. A connection that can only be cultivated between two people when it exists within each one of them. We can only love others as much as we love ourselves. Love is our true destiny. We do not find the meaning of love by ourselves alone. We find it with another person, and that brings about connection. I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. Trust me, you can't have connection with someone you don't love. It's not possible. Essentially, true love means that you have an unwavering, unbreakable, and unparalleled fondness and devotion for your partner. It's also defined by an emotional as well as physical connection with him or her that runs immeasurable deep, and life without your significant other would be practically unthinkable. People say love is blind, but trust me, love is not blind. Love sees but doesn't mind. Some people believe it's a game. Yes, love is a game that two people can play and both win. In a nutshell, love exists, and so does connection. Even God created this world with love, and to you, Emmanuel, Ramdas said that, I quote, "Unconditional love really exists in each of us. It is a part of our deep inner being. It is not as much as an active emotion as a state of being. It's not I love you for this or that reason, not I love you if you love me. It's I love you for no reason, love without an object. And it's in you. You might not believe in it, but you were created from it. Some people are not created from love, though, but I know you were created from it. I rest my case." Mr. Luan now said, "Wow, so impressive. You both are correct. So now, what is love?" Liquor said, "Love is willingness to prioritize another's well being before yours." Emmanuel said, yes, love is a responsibility. Liquoro said, love is destiny. Emmanuel said, love is a game. Mr. Lohan said, you know what? Let's end it here. And I'm going to conclude by saying that love and connection works together. You can't connect with someone you don't love. And in every successful relationship, there must be love and connection. Goodbye. Mr. Lohan left them. Some minutes later, Mrs. Eunice said, what are we going to eat this afternoon? LIQUOROSE said, rice and stew. Mrs. Eunice said, Emmanuel, so you are the one preparing it. Emmanuel said, yes, I'm going to show her how it's done. When Emmanuel was cooking, he left the kitchen for a while and LIQUOROSE decided to go and add plenty salt inside the stew he had finished preparing and small inside the rice. When he finished cooking, he believed his skill that he didn't even test the food again before serving it. When he dished the food, LIQUOROSE took a spoon and spat it out. LIQUOROSE said, what is this? She shouted. Mrs. Eunice said, what? The food? LIQUOROSE said, yes ma, test it. Emmanuel said, is this revenge or what? Mrs. Eunice tested the food and spat it out too. Mrs. Eunice said, no, it's not. This is actually bad, so bad. Emmanuel said, let me test it. He took a spoon and spat it out too. This is the end of chapter 20. Yes, I'm bringing chapter 21, chapter 22, chapter 23 very soon for you guys. As you all know, they are now at the marriage therapist house. Yes, that woman, Mrs. Eunice, she is the marriage therapist. You've heard what Emmanuel said as regards to love and connection and what LIQUOROSE said as regards to love and connection. According to Emmanuel, that he believes there is something called connection but doesn't believe in love. His reasons, that is his own personal reasons, is because love, the word love is now being misused. Yes, someone can say, I love this dress, I love this cup, I love this hair. It's now being misused. So therefore, that you can connect to someone you don't love. That is his own, that is how he understood the whole thing, and that is his belief all these years. So LIQUOROSE countered the whole thing and said that love and connection works together. You understand? That was what Mr. Luan asked them. That LIQUOROSE answered her own and Emmanuel answered hers. But from LIQUOROSE's explanation, that there is no way you will love somebody without that connection being there, that the connection will have to be there. And as regards to what Emmanuel said, that you can say that you love this, you love that love should be used only on human being, she now told him that love, that we have types of love, that you can love this dress, or you can love this chair, but it's not romantically love. That was what LIQUOROSE was trying to explain for Emmanuel. I believe you all followed me in this chapter 16 to chapter 20 of this story that I just shared now. And I believe you pick one or two things. Engage me in the comment section. Do you also believe that love and connection works together? Or you believe only in connection and you don't believe in love, just like Emmanuel? Engage me in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Okay, let me know if you believe just like Emmanuel believed, that he only believes in connection, or you believe just like LIQUOROSE believes that there is something called connection and there is something called love. Okay, remember my name is Doris, and remember this is fiction story put together by one of the Leko Lions by name Oluwa. I will be bringing in chapter 21, chapter 22, chapter 23 very soon. Stay tuned and take care of yourselves. Till I come your way next time. Bye-bye.